Welcome back, everyone. Before we dive in, make sure you drop your thoughts and the lessons you took from this story in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's get into it. The moment I saw her reflection in his laptop screen, wearing the blue striped shirt I had ironed for him just 3 days earlier, I knew my world had shattered into 1,000 pieces. But what Terrence did not know was that I had already started gathering every sharp fragment. My hands steadied as I watched this stranger move through what looked like a hotel room, her dark hair brushing the collar of my husband's shirt. The shirt I had bought him for our anniversary. The shirt that still held a trace of my perfume from when I hugged him goodbye at the airport. "Yvette, are you listening?" Terrence's voice cut through my shock, his face swelling to fill the screen with that practiced smile I now realized I had not seen honestly in months. Behind him, the woman disappeared into what I assumed was a bathroom. "I am listening," I said, my voice smooth despite the storm exploding in my chest. 23 years of marriage, 23 years of believing in us, in him, in the life we built, crumbling in less than half a minute. "The conference is running late tonight, so I might not be able to call tomorrow," he continued, shifting just enough for me to catch a glimpse of rumpled sheets and a second wine glass on the nightstand. Evidence was everywhere, sloppy, insulting. That was when I made the decision that would change everything. I would not scream. I would not beg. I would not ask for explanations. I would do something else entirely, something that would show him exactly what it felt like to have your life ripped away without warning. "Have a good night, honey," I said, sweet as poison. "I love you. Love you too, Ive. See you when I get back." The screen went black. In the reflection, I saw a woman I barely recognized, eyes cold, calculating, and for the first time in 23 years, absolutely free. Terrence had no idea his wife had spent the last 15 years as a forensic accountant specializing in financial fraud. He had no idea I had access to every one of our accounts, every investment, every asset he thought he had hidden. He had no idea I had been documenting his suspicious behavior for 6 months. I closed the laptop and felt purpose, cold, precise purpose. Terrence wanted to play games. Fine. He had chosen the wrong woman. 3 days earlier, I had been the perfect wife, the kind who rose at 5 in the morning to prepare coffee exactly the way he liked it. I pressed his shirts, packed his suitcase with care, and asked if he had everything he needed. "You worry too much," he had said. "It is just Chicago. 3 days in and out." I waved from the porch as he drove down our street in Charlotte, North Carolina, then spent the rest of that Tuesday cleaning our house from top to bottom. That was who I was. The woman who kept everything in its place. Our home on Thornton Drive was a showpiece, 4 bedrooms, 3.5 baths, a gleaming kitchen that had once been photographed for a magazine. I had chosen every paint color, every piece of furniture. It had been my sanctuary. Now, walking through those rooms a day after the video call, the house felt like a museum to a life that had been a lie. I stood in our bedroom, staring at the California King, wondering how many nights he had planned his escapes beside me. The woman in his shirt looked to be in her late 20s, effortlessly beautiful. I met my own gaze in the mirror and braced myself for devastation. Instead, I saw focus, determination, a woman with the keys to her own prison, finally ready to walk out. My phone buzzed. "Missing you already. Can't wait to get home." "Missing you too," I typed. "Hurry home." The ease of the lie surprised me. But if Terrence could lie for months, I could manage a few messages. I had work to do. My office overlooked our meticulous backyard. For 15 years, I had built my reputation on being relentless with numbers. I had found hidden assets across state lines, reconstructed destroyed records, helped put white-collar criminals in handcuffs. I had never investigated my own husband. I began with the obvious: joint accounts, credit cards, phone records. Terrence was careful, but not careful enough to hide from a professional. Within 2 hours, I had a timeline that turned my stomach. The business trips began 18 months earlier, overnight conferences, last-minute client meetings in cities I had never heard him mention before. Always firm paid. Always plausible, until the numbers told the truth. Dinner charges for 2 when he claimed to be in meetings all day. Room service totals triple what one person would order. Purchases at high-end boutiques. On their own, unremarkable. Together, a pattern. Then I found the burner phone in his office closet, tucked in an old briefcase. A cheap flip phone, one number saved. SL. I photographed everything, phone, receipt, call logs. Then I put it back exactly where I found it. At the kitchen island, sipping Earl Grey from my mother's wedding china, I began to design the plan. It started as a whisper and grew into a roar. He had married someone who could follow every dollar he tried to hide. By Thursday evening, I had enough evidence to end our marriage on my terms. But a simple divorce felt like doing business. He would walk away bruised, then start fresh with his girlfriend. That was not justice. Friday morning, I drove downtown to see an old friend. Gloria Banks ran a private investigation firm that specialized in domestic discretion. We had worked cases together for years. She handled the fieldwork. I followed the money. I trusted her. I need your help, I said. And it needs to be off the books. I hired Gloria to run full surveillance on Terrence during his next trip and retained her partner, a former federal marshal named Malcolm Reed, to run background checks on everyone connected to him in the past year. Promise me you are not planning anything dangerous, Gloria said. I am not angry, I answered, realizing it was true. I am methodical. That afternoon, I updated my will, established a trust to protect my personal assets, opened a new bank account in my maiden name, and rented a climate-controlled storage unit across town under my grandmother's last name. By evening, I was ready. How is Chicago? I asked when he called. Boring, he sighed. Depositions running long. Might have to stay an extra day. Take your time, I said, warm as ever. I am just here missing you. Before he hung up, I said, Terrence? Yeah, I love you. Whatever happens next, remember that everything I do is because I love you. He faltered. I love you too. I stared at the photographs on my nightstand. Our wedding day, our 5th anniversary trip to New Orleans, laughing in the French Quarter. Last Christmas, the perfect couple. In every picture, my smile was genuine. That woman was gone. In her place was someone much stronger and far more dangerous. Saturday morning, Malcolm called with preliminary findings. Her name is Sierra Lawson, he said. 28 years old. Junior associate at Whitfield & Associates, the firm your husband consults for. How long? At least 14 months. He paused. There is more. She is pregnant. The phone clattered on the counter. I picked it up with steady hands. How far along? About 3 months. Your husband is paying for the appointments with a separate card. So he had known for weeks and said nothing. Send me everything, I said. Every receipt, every photograph, every log. Malcolm hesitated. Are you sure? Today, I said and ended the call. I spent the rest of Saturday assembling the full picture. The secret cards, the cash withdrawals, the medical payments. Surveillance photos. Call logs. A timeline sharp enough to cut. Terrence Smith, respected attorney and community figure, was a liar, a cheat, and a coward. By Sunday evening, my plan was complete, comprehensive, airtight, and designed to give him precisely what he had given me. The complete collapse of the fantasy he thought he could manage forever. Monday morning, I called in sick and drove to Sierra's apartment complex. It was tidy and modern, the kind of place a junior associate could afford with help. I watched her leave at 8:30, tall and poised, a loose dress concealing what I now knew. When she was gone, I read the story her mailbox told through envelopes visible behind glass. Credit cards, past due notices, a letter from a high-end real estate agency. House hunting. Of course. I called Gloria. Find everything on Sierra's next steps, real estate searches, job applications, major purchases. If Terrence plans to leave me, I want to know the life he thinks he is buying. That afternoon, I made 3 calls. First, to Erica Thomas at the Charlotte Observer, a reporter who covered legal misconduct. She owed me a favor from a case 2 years earlier. I may have a story, a prominent attorney misusing funds to support his pregnant girlfriend. How solid is your evidence? Rock solid. Second, to the North Carolina State Bar. Derek Owens, please. He and I had dated briefly in college and remained friendly. Derek, I said, I need guidance on filing a formal complaint for billing fraud and misuse of client funds. Send me what you have, he said. We will review. Third, to Whitfield & Associates. This is Yvette Smith, I told the managing partner, Mr. Leonard Whitfield. My husband consults for your firm. I would like to discuss potential conflicts of interest. In person. He paused. I can see you tomorrow at 3. Perfect, I said. That evening, Terrence called from somewhere that did not sound like Chicago. You mentioned children, he said. That was out of the blue. People change, I said. We can talk when you get back. Tuesday at 3 in the afternoon, I walked into Whitfield & Associates wearing my best Navy suit and carrying a briefcase full of evidence. The reception area gleamed with glass and chrome. Mr. Whitfield met me himself. In his office, I placed a photograph on his desk. Terrence and Sierra leaving a hotel in Nashville, his arm around her waist, both laughing. Time-stamped during a supposed business trip. Mr. Whitfield went pale. I believe your firm has inadvertently facilitated an unethical relationship between my husband and an employee, I said. I hope we can resolve this quietly, without the bar or the press. I set down billing statements, credit card receipts, and a timeline correlating consulting payments with personal expenses. He reviewed them with care. What do you want, Mrs. Smith? Terminate my husband's consulting relationship immediately. Transfer Miss Lawson to a department with no contact with outside consultants. Conduct a formal review of whether any client funds were misused. In return, this stays between us. And if we do not agree? Tomorrow morning, the Charlotte Observer runs a story on professional misconduct at your firm. The State Bar receives a formal complaint. I file a civil suit for fraud and intentional infliction of emotional distress. He understood. I will need time to investigate. You have until Friday, I said, and left him to the truth. Wednesday, I set Terrence's favorite dinner with our wedding china, lit candles, and let soft jazz thread the air. A funeral for our marriage, dressed like a celebration. He arrived early, kissing my cheek with a scent on his shirt that was not mine. He lied smoothly through salads and salmon. If I had not seen him walking with Sierra through the French Quarter in New Orleans the day before, I might have believed him. You mentioned children, he said. You sounded unhappy. I have been thinking about what would truly make me happy, I told him. If you could have any life, with no consequences, would you choose this one? He faltered. Why would you ask that? I slid my phone across the table with a photograph of him and Sierra. The color drained from his face. Do not insult my intelligence, I said. I know about Sierra. I know about the pregnancy, the apartment, the medical bills, the jewelry, all of it. He stared at the photograph, then at me. How long have you known? Does it matter? I asked. The question is what happens now. He unraveled, talking about late nights, about how brilliant she was, how it was not supposed to happen, how joy punched through him when he learned about the baby. And then you started looking at houses, I said. His head snapped up. How did you? I told you. I know everything. He whispered that he did not know how to tell me, that he could not bear to lose what we had built. Were you going to keep both of us indefinitely? I asked. He said he did not know. I cleared the plates. Sierra's career at Whitfield ended yesterday, I said. So did your contract. He blanched. You cannot, my reputation. Your reputation died when you chose a lie. He asked what I wanted: money, the house. This is not about the divorce, I said. It is about consequences. He promised to end things with Sierra. She is pregnant with your child, I said. You cannot pretend nothing happened. He offered to support the baby financially, but choose his marriage. I held up a hand. Stop. Do you hear yourself? Thursday morning, my phone rang. Mrs. Smith, said a young, shaking voice. This is Sierra Lawson. We need to talk. We met at a coffee shop downtown, neutral ground. Sierra looked smaller in person, luminous with pregnancy and drained by grief. I did not know about you, she said. He told me you were separated. I wanted to believe him. When did you learn the truth? I asked. 3 weeks ago. I hired a private investigator because he would not let me call him at home. She gave a sad laugh when I did. Yes, I said. I did the same. When I confronted him, he said he would leave you. He called you fragile. He said you had never worked outside the home. The condescension burned. Why are you telling me this? She slid a manila envelope across the table. Text messages, emails, voicemails, 14 months worth of promises and ugly things he said about you. If he is going to walk away, he should not walk away clean. I tucked the envelope into my purse. I do not blame you, I said. You were lied to too. She nodded, tears balanced on her lashes. Thank you. That evening, I told Terrence I had met Sierra. He saw the end settle in. What are you going to do? He asked. Tomorrow morning, I said. Derek Owens from the State Bar will call you. A formal complaint has been filed regarding falsified time records and misuse of client funds. Tomorrow afternoon, the Charlotte Observer will publish a story on misconduct at Whitfield and Associates. Your name will not appear, but anyone who matters will know. Tomorrow evening, I am filing for divorce. I will ask for everything. He broke, pleading for forgiveness for 23 years, for a chance. What about loyalty? I asked. What about vows? He had no answer. I placed a set of car keys on the table. These belong to Sierra. You have been making payments on her Honda. She is moving to Baton Rouge to live with her sister. She asked me to. If you enjoyed this story, please like, comment, and share this video with your friends. Subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a powerful story drop.